Right now, we have Andrew from King of the North on the phone. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Chad. How you going?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very well.
That's good. You can say hello, Fraser.
I can say hi.
Hello, Fraser. How you going, mate?
Good, thanks, mate.
Well, you guys, you've been keeping yourself really busy and you've had so much stuff happening for you. Your new single is Wanted off your debut album, Sound the Underground, and it's being used in a BMW commercial.
Yeah. We've been pretty lucky with that one. Yeah, it's been picked up by BMW and Triple M have been giving it a fair bit of rotation as well. Am I allowed to cross-promote radio stations here? Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm not going to hang up on you. Don't worry.
What? Yeah, so we've been getting a bit of love with that, which has been really nice. Yeah, you know, for an independent, self-managed band that's just sort of, you know, going out to the pub and playing shows, it's really nice to have people, you know, higher up the ladder that are going, hey, you know, let's support these guys. And there's a couple of people in particular that have just been really great. And, yeah, we're just really, really grateful.
Well, just a couple of guys going out and playing pretty awesome gigs.
It's a little bit of an understatement now.
Yeah, I've seen them. Fraser is dying to see you play live.
I really am. I'm waiting for you guys to come to Ballarat.
They are coming to Ballarat.
Next weekend, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that show a lot.
Excellent.
So, yeah, you will, as we mentioned, as you just mentioned, you'll be at the Crover Lounge on the 14th of March. But
yeah, so Fraser, just tell 35 of your closest friends and come down.
I think we should be right, yeah. I think we're going to pack that
we'll be telling everyone for the next week and a half.
Yeah.
Excellent. No, we're looking forward to that. The Crover's been really good to us, and Lockie down there and Sean, they're good guys. And, yeah, it's a good venue, and we're pretty excited to be coming back.
And you... I mean, like I said, I've seen you play, and you and Danny, like, amazing instrumentalists, and you did develop a new style of playing guitar which allows you to be a two-piece band but to sound like a full band.
Yeah, that's pretty much the theory of what is King of the North, you know.
Yeah, secret techniques, which aren't quite so secret anymore because everyone watches everything you do.
Yeah, I think people watch, and I don't know, but I watch other guitarists do things and look at their pedals, and I sort of can't even make out what they're doing. So I don't know how it's going on, but yeah, basically, like, that's how King of the North started. We never really started, you know, hey, let's make a two-piece because, you know, there's two pieces around at the moment. I just had this idea one day where I just went, I reckon if I did this, and this, I could make one guitar sound like two guitars and a bass guitar. So then with just a drummer, and obviously I can sing and play guitar, you'd be able to create the sound of a full band from just two guys. And then we tried it out, and it actually worked. So we went, oh, wow. And we sort of laughed the first time we pulled it off, you know. We just went, man, that sounds ginormous. So we just started doing it, started as a side project. So that's pretty much the whole theory of King of the North is that essentially. It wasn't like, yeah, like I said, let's just make a two-piece band because that's a fad at the moment or that's trendy or whatever. It was just sort of formulated out of an idea.
Either that or you're both really difficult to get along with. No.
Yeah, it could be.
But you got recognised as one of the top 25 future legends of guitar in the Australian Guitar magazine.
Yeah, that was amazing, you know, like, because I've never really sort of played for personal accolades or anything like that before, you know, and because I pretty much manage King of the North. Everything I do with my spare time goes into, you know, getting us the next gig or trying to get the next thing happening for the band, you know, and then people started texting me and writing me Facebook messages going, congratulations, and I didn't even know it had happened. And I was like, what are they talking about? And then finally someone actually posted, like, took a photo of the article from the magazine and posted it on my Facebook page, and I was just like, oh, shit. And then I rang them up and said, well, hey, can I get a copy of this magazine? And eventually they sent me one. And, yeah, sure enough, in there next to, like, Gary Clark Jr. and Eddie Van Halen's son, Wolfgang, and, like, all these other guitarists from around the world, and some fantastic guitarists mentioned in there. It was funny because at the time we were on tour with The Nerve, and The Nerve's guitarist Glenn Proudfoot was mentioned in there as well. And then on that same tour, we were doing shows with two bands from Europe, and one in particular was called Blues Pills from Sweden. And they've got this 19-year-old little shredder. His name's Dorian Sirio, and he was mentioned in that article as well. So it was sort of funny that I was travelling around with these two other guys that were mentioned in it at the same time. But yeah, that was an absolutely amazing surprise. I didn't expect that at all, and it was quite overwhelming, actually.
You've been playing with some pretty iconic Australian bands, like in Festival Hall we were reading. That must have been another feather in your cap.
Yeah, with Cold Chisel. Yeah, that was a while ago though. But yeah, we've done quite a few since then. We've played with a lot of bands, but we sort of just try and do our thing. And yeah, we love supporting great bands. It's awesome to play with your heroes. Like we're going to be touring with Monster Magnet from the States pretty soon, and I'm pretty stoked that we got picked for that because I'm a big fan of those guys, and I don't think they've been out here for like 17 years or something. So that's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, well, I really like Monster Magnet too, and you're going to be doing those shows on the 3rd of April in Perth, the 4th in Sydney, the 5th in Brisbane, and the 6th in Melbourne.
Yeah, a lot of night drives.
Sorry?
A lot of night driving.
You won't be driving from Perth to Sydney. I think you're going to have a plane.
But we'll be flying for that one, and then from Sydney we'll be doing an overnight drive to Brisbane, and then an overnight drive and all the day back to Melbourne.
Really?
Jeepers.
So lots of coffee.
Well, I don't actually drink coffee.
Gee.
But yeah, I'm stimulated enough.
Just put your King of the North album, Sound of the Underground, in the car and listen to that the whole way.
Oh God, no! I wouldn't listen to that. I hate listening to my own stuff. Back in Black gets me through every time.
That'll work. Yeah.
Anything from Rage Against the Machine.
Yes, that's in my playlist.
Gets me through.
It always amuses me that bands want other people to listen to them when they won't even listen to themselves.
Well, it's like a cook, like someone will cook a meal for a bunch of people and they sort of, they don't really like it as much as the people, or they want the people to like it, It's sort of the same thing when you create something, I think.
I don't know, I love my own food.
Yeah, so do I, actually. That was a shit analogy.
It's all right, we'll forgive you.
We'll think of another one. I've got to ask about the name. Did that come from the Game of Thrones TV show? Or was that just...
No, I got asked this the other day, actually.
Yeah.
It came from my years of torment as a child, a religious torment, and it's basically a prophecy in the Bible. And to cut a very long story short, I'm not a religious person at all myself these days, but it's basically a prophecy from the book of Daniel, I think, and it's prophesying the time of the end, and it's about the king of the south and the king of the north, and they represent the two world powers.
Okay.
And so throughout time they've been battling each other, and then towards the end of time, the king of the south would be the current world power, and then the king of the north would be this constant unknown adversary that was always rising up against to challenge the king of the south. And then when it finally showed its face to challenge it for the last time, that battle would bring about Armageddon. And I just thought, well, that's a pretty tough name for a band.
That's pretty awesome, yeah. That's just a giant coincidence then. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was great advertising.
Yeah.
Was it J.R.? What's that dude's name again? He's got like 1,000 initials.
Yeah.
But I was a big fan of the show. When the show came out, I was like, man, this is killer. And then when the end of season 1 happened, and they were instilling John Stark as like the king of the north, and they had that big ceremony, and they're all chanting, I just went, man, that is so going on the start of our album.
Yes, that would be great.
So we do get that question quite a bit.
Yeah, I'll bet.
We put that on the start of the album, the start of the EP actually, sorry. And a lot of people went, oh, did you get it from Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, sorry. It's actually from the Bible, believe it or not.
Yeah, I don't watch
a little bit different.
King of Thrones, and I haven't read the Bible that closely, even though I was brought up Catholic too, but I'm no longer religious.
Yeah, I just had I don't know, I was just sort of took in information, I think.
But I'm looking at your Facebook page actually right now, and at the thread of... Sorry?
I said, are you, Joe?
Yeah, I am stalking you at the moment. At the thread of bringing up that radio station again, you actually went in the studio and had a talk to Ugly Phil on Triple M.
Yeah, because we got the call today that they're putting Sound the Underground as Album of the Week next week on Triple M. That's their national show called Homegrown. So that's a massive win for us. It's pretty amazing that, it's pretty much one of the highest accolades you can get in Australian radio. So, we're absolutely thrilled. So I went in there and had a chat with Phil today, and, Triple M will be thumping it next week.
Awesome. So when people aren't listening to my shows on Voice FM, they should be listening to Triple M next week.
That's it.
Yeah. Exactly, and in that order as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
But as you said, you starting your tour for Sound the Underground, and you are announcing in stages the shows you're doing. And the next one you've got coming up is on the 14th of March at the Corova Lounge.
Well, that is the first gig of the tour.
All right.
Great place to start
Because
off.
that's the date our album comes out as well. That's the official release date of the album, which will be available at JB Hi-Fi, Sanity, and on iTunes and stuff like that.
Well, so is it a pre-order on iTunes at the moment?
Yeah, well, we did a pre-release because we did the Possible campaign last year.
Mm-hmm.
But we we just did a pre-release because of the Possible campaign, and then we went on tour with the Nerves. So we did a pre-release, and now the proper thing comes out, and we've got the vinyl coming out soon as well, which is just getting manufactured in Nashville at the moment. It's just taken longer than we anticipated. It's quite a tedious process getting vinyl made.
Yeah. Oh,
But, so the tour starts on the 14th, and our first date is in Ballarat, yeah. So we're doing a lot of regional Victorian stuff first, and then we've got the Monster Magnet stuff, and then we'll make the third announcement next week, which will be all of April, and then at the start of April we'll do the fourth and final announcement, which will be all of May and the start of June.
you got to be careful, Andrew. You're starting to treat this like a job.
Well, I don't do anything else, so...
No, that's good. And you're doing really well out of this. You are, like you said, 14th of March at Corova Lounge, and then you'll be at the Barwon Club the next night in Geelong, and then you're going to be on the 21st, you'll be at the Bridge Hotel in Castlemaine. You have played there before last year, didn't you?
We have played the Bridge once before, yeah. It's a pretty cool little room there. I really like that pub. And we're bringing down a band from Bendigo called Low Point, and they're pretty cool little young rockers, and yeah, we're really looking forward to playing the Bridge again. It's a great little venue.
Right, so will you be playing with them when you go to Bendigo on the 29th as well?
Correct, yep.
Who have you got supporting you in Ballarat?
We've got a couple of acts whose names have escaped me. The Corova Lounge actually booked them, so that's probably why I can't think of them straight off the top of my head.
Right, and do you want to ask something quickly, and I'll look up the Corova Lounge and see if they've got it.
We were talking before about you guys starting in Adelaide and then coming across to Melbourne. Are you a South Australian band or a Victorian band? Can we claim
it's sort
you
of
over
hard to
here?
say because when the band started, I was living in Melbourne and Danny was living in Adelaide.
Yeah.
So you could sort of technically say we're a Melbourne band. You could technically say we're an Adelaide band. The truth of the matter is we're both Adelaide boys, so Adelaide has a fair stake in claiming us, but Melbourne is definitely where we have put our best foot forward and been received on a very, very welcoming level, you know.
You're kind of like me. You were born in Adelaide, but you've grown up in Melbourne.
Oh, I grew up in Adelaide.
No, I mean the band.
Yeah, right, okay. Yeah, pretty much. Like, Melbourne's a great breeding ground for Australian music, you know. It's like anything, you know, like, I use the analogy sometimes, you know, you don't move to Alice Springs if you want to be a pro snowboarder, you know, you've got to go where it's snowing. And definitely snowing here for bands, you know, there's a lot of pubs, there's a lot of venues, and it's that hotbed there that, you know, it's a breeding ground, you know. In Adelaide, there's a lot of venues that have closed up, ones that I, you know, cherished and went to when I was a kid and started playing my very first gigs at, you know, they don't exist anymore. They've now ripped up the carpet, taken out the booths, cemented bar stools into the ground and, you know, put floor-to-ceiling glass in there and, you know, play doof-doof. And it's a crying shame, you know, but Melbourne still held on to a lot of the iconic venues, you know, and thank God, like I know a lot have closed down here, but, you know, thank God there were hundreds, you know. It really is the live music capital of the world. Like I just spent the last 2 weeks in LA and Vancouver and trying to go out and see a live band in a pub that was just like trekking across cities and, you know, I just went, wow, you know, I've only got to walk down my street in Brunswick and I've got 10 places just to choose from just in my neighbourhood, you know.
Yeah.
So it really is, it's the live music capital of the world by an absolute mile, and that's why there's so many good bands around and so many more up and coming. And when we were talking today at Triple M, I was having a chat to Higo, and he said, you know, there's a lot of good things happening in the Melbourne scene at the moment, and there's something sort of starting, you know. And I think he's right. There's a lot of really good bands kicking around, and yeah, I think, you know, Aussie rock's still got a really positive and bright future.
Yeah, and I didn't read it, but I saw something on my Facebook today that there's been a major grant awarded to Melbourne for a lot of the smaller festivals.
Right.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And
Sure is. Anything that facilitates bands playing to people is gonna benefit everybody, you know.
And while we're on the subject of smaller festivals, you're doing Cherry Rock in both Melbourne and the inaugural Sydney event.
Yes, we are. They've announced the Sydney one, have they?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all right. I must have been overseas when they did that.
It's
I must have missed that one while I was on a chairlift. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. That did really good things for us when we first played Cherry Rock. When Danny decided to make the move over here in 2012, I think we started playing in like January 2012 in Melbourne, and you know by April we got on Cherry Rock, and it's going to be it did really good things for us. So it's going to be great to be out on the main stage this year, and just smashing it in AC/DC Lane, you know.
Yeah, which actually I've got an interview coming up with James Young, and he said it will probably be the last one in AC/DC Lane.
Oh, no.
Because they've got a big apartment block opening across the road. But
yeah, and you know, I'm pretty much vomiting in my own mouth. Saying it, you know, it's just absolutely heartbreaking.
But there are options. He said it could even end up being bigger. But it's, you know, AC/DC Lane is iconic.
And it's the perfect setup. It's the perfect layout, and exactly. It's AC/DC Lane. You know, you know.
We'll give
it's
everyone
like if you were
headphones.
pleading the case to the judge, you'd be like that dude in the castle. You know, you'd be going, well, it's just the vibe. You know, it's the vibe.
Might have to just give...
It's AC/DC Lane. What more do you need?
It's the serenity.
Twice
Absolutely.
a year, might have to give free tickets to the couple of thousand people who live in the apartment block.
But, you know, we're opening up a can of worms here because I could talk for hours on legislations that these councils have on these idiots that move into, you know, high-density areas and expect it to be as quiet as the country. You know, it's like moving next to an abattoir and then complaining that it smells like shit.
Yes.
You know, it's like, well, what was here first, genius? And the fact that, you know, that's not supported by the councils and state parliament is just an absolute joke.
Well, so he said the council are being quite supportive of him and they are working with him. And Cherry Fest and Cherry Rock are both going to continue anyway.
Good.
So, but you've got the Meat Puppets headlining. Sorry, what?
That's good. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Sounds like I was just getting angry for no reason, you know?
Well...
But it's something I'm very passionate about because, like I said, you know, the whole reason the Melbourne scene is good is because there are places for bands to play.
Yeah, exactly. And the council are getting on board more and more, which is good.
More people need to be passionate about it.
You know, you can't, you know, if you take the arts out of the city, then what have you got?
A lot of trams.
Exactly, because like you said, Melbourne's the heart of music, but then it's also an arts capital. It supports
That's right.
a lot of
music
arts.
is art. And if you take the arts out of it, you know, like I said, you know, it's not Melbourne anymore, it's Sydney.
Yeah. Are you excited about playing with the Meat Puppets anyway?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I remember watching them as a kid, you know, playing on that Unplugged Nirvana MTV thing, you know, and just going, oh yeah, cool, the Meat Puppets. You know, and then now, be playing with them, that's pretty rad.
Well, I'm going to tell people to get down to the Crover Lounge on the 14th of March in Ballarat and see you.
Do it.
Hell yeah.
They can go to the Bridge Hotel if they're in Castlemaine on the 21st and see you.
They can.
Cherry Rock in Melbourne the 25th of May and then in Sydney on the 31st of May.
Yeah, and the biggest gig in Melbourne will be our CD launch on the Sound the Underground tour. Will be in the Gershwin Room at the Espy on the 26th of April.
Oh, I was going to say you haven't got that one up on your...
No, that's I've just given you third announcement info there.
Oh, the 26th of April at the Gershwin Room at the SB. Who have you got supporting you? Do you know that yet?
I can't release that information, but they are all high-quality local rock acts.
Okay.
And some from the state as well.
Cool. Maybe you could get the Meat Puppets to support you in that one.
We'll see how we go.
And you've also got the Monster Magnet Tour, which people can go to Oztix and check out the dates and get tickets for that one.
Yeah, the Victorian date is at Billboard, which is now called, I think...
160 Russell Street.
Yeah, 160 Russell, yeah.
So that's Billboard. I wondered what this 160 Russell Street
That
was.
explains a lot,
Yeah, it's pretty much Billboard.
Oh, right.
And that's on the 6th of April.
That sounds about right.
And it's going to be pretty awesome supporting them and Meat Puppets all,
That'd be
within
crazy,
a few weeks, or 2 weeks of each other.
Yeah, it's going to be sick.
You've got a busy couple of months ahead.
Yeah, man, 35 plus dates in between now and the start of June. So, yeah, this year's just going to fly.
Yeah.
And don't forget, people, if you're watching TV and the BMW ad comes on, to start rocking out to King of the North's track Wanted, which is being used
That's
there.
it. It's a little hot red 2 Series. And yeah, it's actually a cool looking car. It's a cool clip. That's why we decided to do it, because the guy that, hey, we want to put your song in an ad, we were a bit sceptical at first. We're like, and then he showed us and said, we've basically got this hot little new BMW coupe doing burnouts and slides in the desert, and showed us and said, we reckon your song would be awesome behind this. And we just went, yeah, okay, that's pretty cool.
Your awesome roadie just posted up that at the Crover Lounge you are being supported by Deaf Foe and Tartarus. Tartarus? I don't know how to say that properly.
A new one, yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't heard of either of those bands actually.
Yeah, well, they were organised by the Corova Lounge, but nonetheless.
It'll still be a great night, yeah.
Yeah, well, we love playing with everybody, and especially playing with new bands. It's great. Some of the best surprises we've ever had has been playing with bands that we've never ever heard of, and then just going, hey man, those guys are really cool. So yeah, it's always a win.
Well, a lot of those bands around Ballarat and that too, they're actually hybrids of other bands that they sort of start a new band together, but they're from well-known bands.
Right. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
You got to stay busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah. There's a lot of that happening. I mean, the Yacht Club DJ is one of the guys from them, plays in one of the local bands whose name escapes me right now.
Them Nines.
Yeah, them
Nines.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, there's a lot of I want to say interbreeding within the bands, but I won't. People can find out more about you at facebook.com/King of the North. Or you've got a website, kingofthenorth.com.au.
Yeah, .com.au for the website. The Facebook address is King of the North /King of the North Band. In King of the North takes you to some rapper in Wisconsin in the States.
Oh, well, he's going to disappear once the United States get wind of you.
That's it. You'll take him
he
over.
looks pretty badass. He calls himself Boogie, King of the North.
Yeah, it's always fantastic talking to you, and you are very welcome to pop in the studio anytime you want to.
Thanks, Pat.
And I look forward to talking to you again. And I was going to say, actually, you chose the right name for your first single off the album, which the album is Sound the Underground, and the single is Wanted. And King of the North are a band who are very wanted at the moment.
Very much wanted.
Well, yeah, I just think we're very lucky. We do what we love, and it's awesome that, people are vibing on it. That's just, that's amazing,
Yeah, great.
It really is, mate. I don't know any other words for it. It's just really good, It's just great.
Yeah, I suppose, like, you always hope for the best, but you don't necessarily expect it when...
Oh, totally. Like, expectation is the root of all heartaches, So I never go out there expecting anything. So the fact that, like I said, that we just get to travel the world doing what we do and playing what we play and, just doing what we love, it's just, I'm very, very grateful and, feel very blessed.
Awesome. And thank you very much. I'll get you to hold on the line a sec, and I'm going to put your song Wanted on so people can envision seeing King of the North live or BMWs, whichever they choose. And thanks for your time again.
Oh, no worries. Thanks very much for having me.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.